All couples experience relationship challenges, but military couples experience unique challenges and scenarios that can add an additional layer of stress. Whether we're talking about career demands, deployments, TDYs, multiple PCS moves, the list goes on and on. But it's good to know that Military OneSource offers a comprehensive range of relationship support to help service members and their partners navigate these challenges and to strengthen their connection. Today, we're going to introduce you to our newest offering, which is a free resource for military couples, the online flexible relationship support program called the OurRelationship program. I am Kelly Smith, the Associate Director for Military Community Support Programs and the Program Manager for Military OneSource. Today, I am joined by Dr. Brian Doss, the founder of the OurRelationship program, a new benefit for military couples offered for free through Military OneSource. Welcome, Dr. Doss.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's great to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. So today we'll be discussing the OurRelationship program and demonstrating how you and your partner can use it to work through common challenges that couples experience, like communication and financial stress. Just a surface layer overview, guys. So the OurRelationship program is the latest among a wide range of relationship support and options provided through Military OneSource. It's flexible, it's online, you can do it at your own pace, and it's great for couples who may be apart because of a deployment or because of a TDY or for other reasons like schedules that don't match up. Dr. Doss, I want you to dig a little bit deeper and tell our viewers about the program.
Sure. So the OurRelationship program, the version that's available through Military OneSource, is really tailored to the military community to address issues that are really common in active duty, reserve, and guard members. It consists of self-paced online interactivities, and you can do this on your phone, on a tablet, on a computer. And really the program, kind of our guiding mission with the program, is to be a tool to help couples either solve a relationship problem or strengthen a particular area in the relationship that could have, kind of come about at any stage in military life, whether they're together or deployed, as you mentioned. And couples can choose to work through the program on their own, or they can work through with a project coach that'll help them kind of tackle issues like emotional distancing, lack of trust, or difficulty recovering from painful events, either inside the relationship or outside. The couples choose to work with a coach, and about 50% of couples do. Coaches are available on weekends and evenings. In fact, our most common time is probably Sunday evening for coach appointments, in addition to regular business hours. And the program takes about 4 to 6 weeks to complete.
Yeah, so Dr. Doss, you mentioned that the OurRelationship program is self-paced and that it can be done with or without a coach. It really sounds like the program is ideal for those that may want an extra level of privacy as a first step. Can you elaborate on how flexibility is one of the key elements of the program?
Yeah, so I think privacy and flexibility are both really important here for couples who choose to do the OurRelationship program. I think I was trained originally as a couple therapist, and in fact, the OurRelationship program is adapted from a very successful and effective couple therapy approach. But we know that there's lots of couples who don't want to do something like that. Sometimes it's because of logistical issues, childcare, things like that. But oftentimes it's because one or both partners don't feel comfortable talking to somebody about kind of really personal and sensitive issues. And so I think kind of the OurRelationship program, even when you're working with a coach, is a much more structured and kind of time-limited experience that couples can undergo, and it feels less invasive than perhaps couple therapy. It's also a great first step for couples who may only have a few challenges or issues to work through in their relationship. So, if a couple has something focused that they want to work on, that can also be a really good thing. That's not to say that we can't work with couples who are unhappy in their relationship. We certainly work with couples who come to us and say, if this program doesn't work, we're going to break up. So couples who are in a lot of relationship stress. But because it is more time limited and kind of more focused, it's a less less of an ask of couples and of our partners to do something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure that there might be a couple watching this now and they may be wondering, well, does it work? What success have you seen with couples that have used the program?
Well, yeah, so I think that's really important to us because there's lots of programs, in app stores and online that you can do that really kind of promise you the world, right? But one thing that's really important to our mission is to make sure that whatever we're doing with couples really has a strong evidence base. So we've done nationwide randomized trials with more than 5,000 couples at this point. And that's sort of the gold standard. That's what really allows us to say that, yes, this program is really effective. We feel good about a couple of different things. One is that couples like it. So 94% of couples are satisfied with the program. 97% would recommend it to a friend. And in fact, that's how we get most of our referrals is somebody does the program and mentions it to their friend group. And, with as common as relationship issues are, people pick up on it and can join that way. But it's more than just people liking it. So we know from our research studies that couples experience significant gains in many aspects of their relationship. So things like reduced arguments, better communication, greater intimacy. But it doesn't just stop there. Because couples are fighting less and they feel more supported, they also report better mental health at the end of the program. Things like reduced depression, anxiety, problematic drinking. And it goes even further than that because couples' relationships are better. They're doing better individually. They're able to parent together better. There's fewer arguments about parenting. And actually, couples' kids end up having fewer emotional and behavioral problems at the end of the program. So, we still really see kind of the effects on multiple domains, which is really exciting to us.
Yeah, it sounds like the program is very effective. I mean, as I was listening to you speak, reflecting on those secondary and third level impacts of effectiveness of the program, talking about reduced mental health challenges and symptoms of depression and problematic drinking. And then those third level gains of with children having better co-parenting relationships and fewer emotional behavior problems. I mean, who does not want that within their relationship? Right. So all of that coupled with the interactive activities, I mean, it sounds like the program is very engaging. Can you talk a little bit more about what couples can expect when they enroll in the program?
Sure, absolutely. So the program itself has three primary phases. So OurRelationship, the first part of that, Our, is actually an acronym for the three phases. So observe, understand, and respond. So couples go through those in a linear sequence. And we think that's really important because oftentimes couples kind of come to us and basically say, fix our relationship, or I don't know, we've tried everything on our own. We don't know what else to do. So we don't think that kind of this idea of kind of a buffet model where you're like, oh, let's do this activity and let's do this activity is really going to work. So what we try to do is this kind of more structured process that, that sort of replicates what we do in couple therapy. So in the first phase, the understand phase, we're going to help couples narrow and really kind of think about what it is that they want to work on in the relationship. In the program. In the understand phase, couples are going to develop what we call a deep understanding of their relationships. It's kind of a more accurate, more nuanced understanding of what's going on. And then finally, in the respond phase, they have an opportunity to actually work together to create specific changes in their relationship based on the issue that they've picked. And couples, as they work through, to kind of visualize what happens here, each person's actually doing it individually for the most part, going through the online content, answering questions, writing short responses. And that's really important because, we have different schedules. People may be deployed while they're doing this, but also it's just sort of a nightmare to be looking at our phone over our partner's shoulder. We have different reading speeds and all of that stuff. So just logistically, what we want to do is have people work individually, but then we're going to bring couples together at the end of each of those phases to share what they've been working on. And if they're working with a coach, they'll get together with their coach, and the coach can really make sure that that sharing goes well. If they've decided to work on their own, there's actually a joint activity where the couples come together. Imagine sitting on your couch, what you've previously written into the program is displayed on your phone, and you're trading it back and forth to kind of have with your partner to have a more structured conversation in a way that hopefully is going to be more productive and less likely to get into fights.
So we know that the two common challenges that couples face are their communication challenges as well as financial stressors. I want us to take a look at how the OurRelationship program can help to improve communication. Dr. Doss, would you mind giving us a preview of how the OurRelationship program can help boost communication among couples?
Sure. Yeah, certainly communication is one of the most common reasons that couples will do the OurRelationship program. And so, a couple is presenting with communication or any other type of problem, we're going to take them through that observe, understand, and respond structure. So in the observe phase, one of the primary goals is going to be to help the couple really think, well, when I say we have communication problems, what do I mean by that? Is it that little disagreements turn into big fights, and so we're constantly yelling at each other? Or is it, almost the opposite, where when we can't even talk about anything, someone's kind of pulling away or avoiding or stonewalling, and so we can't have a productive conversation or work together on anything. So once we've figured that out, what we're going to do is help couples develop that deep understanding. So let me give you a little taste of what that looks like. So I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if that's okay. I mentioned kind of, that we kind of couples have activities that they, will go through. So this is what the program looks like on desktop. On mobile, it obviously looks different. But you can see here, this is the coach block on the left-hand side where they can have their coach calls. We've got the various activities structured according to the various respond phases, the different phases of the program. If a couple's going to be developing a deep understanding in the understand phase, they're going to start with the deep understanding. So this is an activity, for example, that's going to give couples a sense about what's upcoming here, and that should load in a second. So we're helping, escaping the blame trap. What we mean by that is how do I get out of the experience of feeling trapped or not knowing what to do to improve our relationship? So we're going to do a couple of different things. We're going to help couples understand why they're trapped and what's happening. And we do that a lot through animations or things like that. We also have videos, professionally filmed videos of couples who are experiencing common problems. And we'll, get to hear from them individually and see them interact together, more animations. So let's look to see this video. We're going to see Jada and Terrell kind of experiencing difficulties that they experience every day in their relationship. And we're going to try to overlay the deep understanding over top of that. So let's see how that goes.
Jada and Terrell's fight was very intense and may have seemed exaggerated and dramatic. But what if we told you that they have some important natural differences? She's a bit more extroverted and social than he is.
You haven't seen me all day? And you don't want to be in the same room with me? All I want to do is talk to you.
Why can't you understand that I have been around people all day long and I just need a few more minutes to relax, to decompress? Being around people tires me out, okay? I just want to come home and relax.
Now, in addition to their differences, this issue really triggers some intense emotions.
Feels like he doesn't want to be around me, his own wife. It just makes me feel like I'm insignificant in his eyes, which is the worst feeling in the world.
I've had women telling me what to do my entire life. First my mom, then my first wife, now Jada. It's not that I don't love my wife. I just need more space. Sometimes I feel I have no room to breathe when she wants to be around me.
Now, what if we told you that they're both dealing with a lot of external stress?
I had a flat tire on my way to work. I didn't get to eat lunch, and then a coworker and I got into a fight.
I have a really big presentation coming up at the end of the week, and I'm just really stressed about it going well.
Now, this isn't the first time they've had arguments that push these same buttons. Actually, they've had them quite a few times, and it's developed into a pattern of communication where she makes suggestions that he dismisses, which often leads to criticism that he counters with criticisms of his own, leading both of them to feel frustrated.
Honey, you should really brush your teeth a lot longer. The dentist says it.
Really? You gonna now start telling me how to brush my teeth too?
Do whatever you want. Can't believe you forgot to deposit the check today.
Well, if it's such a big deal, why didn't you do it yourself? If you didn't buy so much crap, I wouldn't have to worry about you bouncing checks.
Now this couple's intense fight makes more sense. It's easy for us to begin to put these pieces together. We're the outside observer in this case.
But it's going to be much harder for Terrell and Jada to see the same things because they're caught in the middle of it. However, that's the challenge they face if they want to get unstuck and strengthen their relationship.
Okay, so now that they understand kind of some of the challenges that are facing them and what the deep understanding involves, what we're going to then do is kind of help them develop a deep understanding of their own relationship. So for a couple presenting with communication problems, we're going to focus on all the different aspects, but especially patterns of communication are going to be really, really important for that couple. And then once they've got that deep understanding, they're going to move into the respond phase, where we're going to work with that couple to develop specific solutions to communication problems. So, for example, if it is that couple that, little disagreements turn into big fights, we're going to talk with them and kind of teach them, how to do a timeout, and kind of not just timeouts, but also time-ins. How do you kind of recover from those fights, and how do you come back together to kind of have a more productive conversation about that? If it's a couple who is kind of not able to talk about things or not able to, problem solve or really kind of share some of the emotional aspects of their relationship, we're going to find structured, going to give tips on speaker and listener communications skills so that they really can come together and feel more comfortable opening up and supporting each other.
Yeah, Dr. Doss, getting a chance to be able to see the actual website of the program and then a video clip from the program is really, really helpful to allow couples to see what they'll be getting into when they use the program. I want us to kind of pivot a little bit and talk about another common challenge that I mentioned, which was financial stress. Can you give us some examples of how the Our Relationship program helps couples navigate through finances?
Absolutely. Yeah. So finances is a common challenge. And I think one of the things that's really tricky with finances is that, money can tap into all sorts of different things. So sometimes money really is about, we don't have enough money. We've got more money going out than we have coming in. And understandably, that creates a lot of stress for a couple. So in the external stress chapter, part of that deep understanding, we're going to provide feedback to couples on, how stressed they are. They're going to see graphs on how stressed they are, how stressed their partner is. We're going to help them understand the impact that that's having on their relationship. But oftentimes money is more than just dollars. It's trust, or it's power or control. So, for example, can I trust you to adhere to our budget? If I've seen that you've taken money out of the ATM, can I trust you that you're spending that money in ways that I agree with? Or do I have to constantly be looking over your shoulder? Or it can be about kind of power and control. So if you have different people earning different amounts of money, for example, how do we spend that and spend it in a way that's kind of equal or fair to us as a couple? So what we're going to do with a couple like that is we're going to bring them through the program. They're developing a deep understanding. I mentioned we're going to do things in external stress. We're going to do things in emotions around their presenting problem. And then we're also going to, just like we did with the communication couple, we're going to work with that couple to think about how they're talking about money. And maybe there's different ways that they can talk about money. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. So, this is a different chapter now, kind of patterns of communication, kind of helping couples understand how they're getting trapped and kind of going around and around like they're caught in the middle of a tornado. So this is a different couple, where they're going to talk about communication, and we're going to talk about finances in a couple of different ways, common ways that couples get stuck. So let's go ahead and watch this video.
We'll now take a look at how the way we interact with each other can make our core problems even more difficult. In this video, you'll meet Jose and Carmen, our fourth and final couple. Their core issue is trust around money. Jose is a saver and Carmen is a spender. Recently, after having been unemployed for 6 months, Jose was hired for a position that requires him to work long hours for less money than he was making at his previous job. When Carmen spends money on things Jose considers luxuries, like going out to eat with friends and family, it makes Jose anxious. On the other hand, Carmen feels like Jose is being controlling and thinks spending money to be with family is important. She also thinks it's unfair of Jose to get mad at her for spending because he spends extra money to make sure they have the best sports channels. For her, it's easier to avoid the topic of finances altogether to prevent fights. Although they have important differences, emotions, and external stresses that make this a difficult issue for them, their patterns of communication are important too. They can talk about this core issue in a number of ways. Let's see how they do.
What is this charge on our credit card last week?
I took my dad out to eat.
Are you kidding me? You know we're trying to save money.
We're both working now, and after not being able to buy my dad a birthday present this year, I wanted to treat him to a nice dinner. I don't want to talk about it. I'll take care of it.
No, okay? No. Don't you realize how wasteful it is to eat out? What were you thinking? Huh? You should have just brought him here to eat like we always do.
Sue me for wanting to take my dad out for dinner once! You have no idea what it meant to him.
I do. However, I know how much money we have, and more importantly, know how much money we don't have.
We do have the money. I just got an extra paycheck. Plus, it was one dinner. One dinner. You're making things sound as if I eat out every single night. You're just unreasonable.
I'm unreasonable. ¿Sabes qué?
As you can see, when Jose is blaming and criticizes Carmen, she feels put on the defensive and a fight escalates. But that's not the only pattern of communication that could get them into trouble.
What is this charge on our credit card last week?
I took my dad out to eat.
Are you kidding me? Carmen, you know we're trying to save money.
I work long hours too, and I'm able to spend some money every once in a while. I'm tired of you looking over my shoulder.
Where are you going? We need to talk about this.
We already did, and there's nothing more to say.
You're unbelievable.
As you can see, when Jose approaches Carmen in an accusing manner, she feels attacked and pulls away. The issue doesn't get resolved, and they both feel frustrated. Now let's see what this fight looks like when Jose questions Carmen, trying to figure out where the expense came from.
Did you do something last Monday?
I don't really remember. Maybe it was when I took my dad out to eat.
Are you kidding me? That's what this credit card charge is for? I knew you were up to something. I called you. Why didn't you answer your phone?
I didn't answer because I knew you were going to be upset, like you always are. Plus, you have no right to be constantly monitoring my spending. You should just trust me, for once.
How could I trust you when you do stuff like this? Huh? We agreed on a budget.
Oh, and you're so perfect? What about the sports TV package that you get for your games? Just because I don't make a big deal about it doesn't mean I don't know. I trust you, like you should trust me.
So me vas a echar en cara todo.
What happened here? Rather than talking about their budget, they got sucked into an argument about how much Jose can trust Carmen. Rather than solving the problem, this episode is probably going to make Jose monitor Carmen's spending more closely and make Carmen be even more avoidant about discussing finances. In the fourth and final example, let's see how they could have handled the situation better.
Do you know what this charge is on our credit card? It's from last Monday and I can't seem to figure it out.
I took my dad out to eat. It's been a long time since we've done something like that, and he really appreciated it.
Carmen, we just talked about this. Okay, we don't have money to be throwing out right now. And we agreed that we talked before you made any extra purchases.
I know I should have told you, but I just didn't want to start a fight. I really wanted to take my dad out for dinner, since I was not able to buy him a birthday present. Besides, it is important for us to do the things that still makes us happy. Like that TV sports package you just got for your games. Family helps me deal with stress, just like sports help you. Should just make time for that too.
Look, I know it hasn't been easy recently. And you're right. Okay, I did spend money on the sports package, which I told you in advance. I'm worried, okay, that if we don't tackle this credit card situation, we're never gonna get out.
I am stressed about it too.
This time, although they were both frustrated, they both did a good job of opening up and sharing what they were feeling without blaming each other or avoiding the problem entirely. They also both respected each other's thoughts about the situation and agreed with each other's points, her not telling him about dinner and him having the sports package. That helped them realize that they were still on the same team about this issue, and hopefully they'll be able to work together to solve the problem.
Okay. So then after viewing a video like that, what the couple then does is think about, well, what do I do in kind of conversations around money or other types of conversations that we might be having? What does my partner do? And then we're going to, kind of help them think about kind of what implications that has for their relationship.
Yeah, Dr. Doss, that video clip and all of the different scenarios really helped to show me that there are so many different layers to finance problems that couples deal with and go through. But now that couples have a deeper understanding, that deep understanding of their finance problems, is that really enough?
For some couples, it might be. If for example, we just watched Jose and Carmen. If Carmen understands kind of how upset and how scared Jose is about the level of credit card debt, that she might feel less controlled if she kind of shares that with him, or if she goes to him ahead of time and says, I know I really want to take my dad out. I know we said we didn't do this. Is it still okay? And she's doing that not because he's making her do it, but she's doing that because she doesn't want to get him upset. And that, so it changes the dynamic. So sometimes that is enough to have couples understand what they're doing, but lots of times it isn't. And that's why we have the respond phase. So after a couple identifies what their pattern is, we're going to give them tailored tips in the respond phase on how to deal with it. So if they are in one of those blame patterns, we're going to talk with them about timeouts, how to kind of prevent those fights, but also kind of the time-ins, how to come back together and really kind of connect after an argument. Or if they're not talking about it, if they're just ignoring each other or refusing to engage, we've got other communication skills that are really going to help that instead.
Yeah, this has been really, really helpful, Dr. Doss. Something that I know that your team does really well, along with the Military OneSource team, is to provide that wraparound support.
Absolutely.
So, like you mentioned, this couple may be talking about their financial stressors and how that impacts their relationship. And it's a great opportunity for those couples to be referred to other resources that may be available through Military OneSource or through their family service center, to the community that helps them with that specific financial, that specific financial question or concern.
Absolutely.
So it's nice to have that nice wraparound support for couples when they do the program.
Yeah. And that's one of the things we'll talk with couples about at the end, is essentially kind of, okay, you've done the program. Like, is this enough, or is there more that you want to do? And we'll do that both for the relationship. So at the end of the program, couples can see, because we ask them some questions at the beginning and we ask them some questions at the end, they can see how much they've changed over the course of the program. If they've changed a lot, great. If not, if they're still struggling with some issues, maybe they need to do some additional things for their relationship. But as you're mentioning, with finances as an example, Military OneSource has, a wonderful suite of resources available to folks. So, we would make that type of referral as well for couples who need it.
Dr. Doss, this has been really informative and great. We're coming to the end of our time. Do you have any key takeaways for our viewers today?
Yeah, sure. I mean, hopefully our time together has kind of shown the viewers what the Our Relationship program is and help them understand that it's not just a simple, like, oh, everybody gets the same thing. And that's important to us because I think, relationships are so specific and the issues that happen in relationships are so specific and we need to tailor the intervention to what that couple's experiencing. And I think that's one of the advantages of the Our Relationship program is that even though everybody goes through the O, U, and R phases, the program is really designed as a tool to help a particular couple solve a particular problem. So I think that's one takeaway that I hope couples get. I think the other takeaway is just, reflecting on your own relationship and thinking about, is this the right solution for what you're looking for at this point? I know we mentioned the suite of services through Military OneSource. There's a great opportunity to get texts to remind you to do positive and fun things with your partner on one side. On the other side, there's, kind of more traditional in-person couple therapy, kind of a more intensive approach. I think the Our Relationship program sort of sits there in the middle. And I think it's a really great solution for couples who have more focused problems, or for couples where one or both partners don't really want to kind of dig deeply and be vulnerable and kind of share some of these sensitive issues with a person that they don't really know very well. And so, I think it's a nice solution for a lot of couples.
Yeah, I am so pleased that this resource is available through Military OneSource. Dr. Das, thank you again so much for joining us today to talk about the Our Relationship program, to demonstrate it, to show clips from the program, and how it can help couples to navigate and resolve some of the common challenges that we see couples face.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. I think one of the challenges that we face is just getting the word out and kind of reducing that stigma around kind of, needing to do something or wanting to do something to strengthen our relationship. I think in our society, there's this idea that somehow if we love each other, that it's all going to work out. But, we know from looking around at our friends and our family members that often isn't the case. And so, I appreciate the opportunity to come here and just talk about the tools that couples have available to them to really work on their relationship.
Yeah, Dr. Das, I appreciate you normalizing the struggle sometimes that couples face when it comes to asking for help. We know that asking for help can be very hard and difficult, but we want folks to know that they have a resource in Military OneSource in utilizing the Our Relationship program. So again, thank you so much. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, I have a call to action for you. So as I mentioned earlier, the Our Relationship program is part of the wide range of relationship support that's available through Military OneSource. You can learn more about the Our Relationship program by visiting militaryonesource.mil/OurRelationship. And if you're not really sure if you want to do the Our Relationship program or if you want to talk with one of our consultants, you can always call Military OneSource at 1-800-342-9647, or you can visit the Military OneSource website at militaryonesource.mil/rethewe. Thank you guys, and I hope you have a fantastic day.